Hi and a huge welcome to Steve's Kitchen. Today we're doing gingerbread. I'm going to show you my go-to recipe for gingerbread if I'm making biscuits or a gingerbread house, for instance, or as today where I'm making gingerbread men. And this is a real simple traditional recipe. Let me show you how. So in a bowl I've got 3 cups of all-purpose flour, that's about 400 grams, and I'm going to put in 2 teaspoons of ginger. I've got a teaspoon here of cinnamon, I've got about 1/4 teaspoon of cloves, and 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg. Now rather than sift those through, I'm just going to take a whisk and blend those together. And I very almost forgot the 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder in there as well. And then we can just set that aside while we prepare the wet ingredients. Now I'm going to be using a stand mixer to mix my dough for this, but you could do this just as easily by hand. I've got 1/2 cup of salted butter, which I'm just going to pop in the mixer. Now if you decide to use unsalted butter, I would suggest you use a little bit of salt in with the dry mixture. I've also got 1/2 cup of granulated sugar. And now I'm just going to mix those for a minute just to cream them together. And you may need to stop and just push the sugar and butter together into the bowl. And it really only takes a minute or so just to get this light creamy texture. I'm now going to add 1 room temperature egg into that. And now to get that rich dark taste, I'm adding 3/4 cup of molasses into this. Now it's a good idea to use a little oil or butter on the inside of the cup when you're using molasses so it doesn't stick in there when you pour it out. And now again, I'm just going to mix that together, beat it together for maybe a couple of minutes. And when that's creamed together beautifully like that and it's a nice even texture, we can start adding our dry ingredients into the mix. And then our mixer can go on again and we're going to mix that together to get a nice even smooth dough. Now remember not to overmix this. This is a cookie dough and we don't want it to be too tough. So I'm ready now. I'm just going to take this off here. So we're just going to turn our cookie dough out onto a lightly floured surface. And then just flour your hands and lightly knead this dough. We don't want to knead it very much actually. We're just making sure that it's smooth and even textured. And there is the dough. You can see it's still slightly crumbly. Now we want to pop that into a bowl. So we'll just cover it and I'll put that dough in the fridge for at least 3 hours until it's gone nice and firm. So now our gingerbread dough has chilled down. It's been in for about 3 hours. It's nice and firm now. I've just got a floured surface here. And I'm just rubbing a little flour over my rolling pin as well. And I'm just going to roll my gingerbread dough out now till it's about 1/4 inch thick. But you can really go to any thickness you prefer for your gingerbread, depending on the project. And when you've rolled your gingerbread out to the thickness you want, I'm taking a little gingerbread man here and I'm going to cut out some little gingerbread cookies. I've actually got 2 sizes. I'm going to use the little gingerbread man and this large one. And then we can just use a palette knife and just lift your little gingerbread men up. And I've got a tray here that I've just lined with some baking paper and we just pop our little gingerbread man down there. And I'm going to pop a little gingerbread man next to him. Give a little bit of distance around them, about 1 inch or so, in case they spread a little bit when they're baking. Now, of course, you can ice your gingerbread men when they're actually baked, but I really like the old traditional way of taking currants and making the little buttons. So I've got some currants here. I'm just pushing 3 in to the middle of his chest to make the gingerbread man buttons, and 2 slightly smaller currants where his eyes would be. And we'll save the icing of the gingerbread man for another video. And there are my little gingerbread men all made up, and I've preheated my oven to 180 degrees Celsius, that's 350 Fahrenheit. Now if you've got a fan oven you might want it a little lower, because we want to cook these for about 8 to 10 minutes, and just keep an eye on them because we don't want them to darken or cook too much. And I just want to show you this tray of Android gingerbreads. Keep a lookout on my channel. If you understand what this is about, look out because there's a great Android cake coming up where these little guys are going to feature. And 10 minutes later the gingerbread are out of the oven. They're still a little bit warm, but you want to let them completely cool down before you move them because they can be a bit soft and they smell absolutely delicious. So there is my gingerbread recipe. Whether you're making gingerbread men or any cookies or a little gingerbread house perhaps, this is my go-to recipe. It's a fantastic, oh, it smells beautiful, this gingerbread. I'm going to give this guy a little try. Stay in touch and keep a lookout for those androids who are going to be making a special appearance very soon. Be good. I'll see you shortly. A big thanks for joining me. Look, I'll leave some links here to some other great cookies that I've done in the past, and I'd really appreciate your comments. Share the love, give us the thumbs up. Be good. I'll see you next time.